Please note that this meeting is being recorded and may be rebroadcast or broadcast on WestfordCAT. We'll start with open forum. Anybody from staff have anything for open forum?
I may just have noticed in your correspondence, we're going to put on a little lunch and learn event for our seniors over at the Senior Center on February 23rd. So if you know anybody that would be interested in learning more about MBTA communities, please encourage them to RSVP with the Senior Center.
Good.
Nothing, sir.
Presentation.
Will be the two of us, just to provide some information for part of the public outreach.
All right, anybody from the board have anything for open forum?
Nope.
Anybody in the public? All right, so we'll move on to our first public hearing. Before we open the public hearing for PB 2406, 100 Littleton Road, Neshoba Valley Technical High School, there is a request to reduce or waive the fee. Mr. Morissette, do you let us know what your opinion is of how much work this will be required of your staff?
Sure. So in terms of the work required by planning and zoning staff, we've mostly conducted all of the work with the exception of drafting any decision the board may make. It was very limited. We did have a direct conversation with the engineering department today, specifically the town engineer, due to the fact that this project does not trigger any stormwater management permit standards, and it's largely impervious area now being covered by proposed building. They did not feel as though it would take much, if any, of their time. And the only notes they had are things that would be covered as part of the building permit process and building code. So,
okay. The board want to discuss this now? Wait till after their presentation.
Comfortable now, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable now.
Yeah. All right. Any thoughts? I'm comfortable waiving the fee at this point.
I reached out to Jeff earlier to ask that question for engineering because I wanted to understand how much effort would be entailed and confirm that it didn't seem like a lot, which is what we've now heard. So based upon that, I am in favor of waiving it. I would say, however, if there had been substantial work, I would not be waiving it the way I would for a Westford school because I think the cost should be borne by the district and not solely by Westford. But in this case here, there are no substantial costs, so I see no problem in waiving it.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? No. All right, is there a motion to waive the fee?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Move that we waive the reading of the public hearing notice for PB 2406.
Second.
Motion is second.
Second. Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll move that we open the public hearing on PB 2406.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And just a friendly amendment for the special permit review.
Great.
Or site plan review, I'm sorry, site plan review.
Site plan, yes.
All right, so is there anybody, the applicant here, want to let us know what's going on?
They are here.
Hi, I'm Denise Pigeon. I'm the superintendent at Neshoba Valley Technical School District. With me this evening, I have Paul Jusom, our facilities director, Jeffrey Scheminger, our vocational technical director, and two members of our 13-member board school committee, Alicia Mallon, who's representing the town of Westford, and Harrison Mayotte, who's representing the town of Chelmsford, and he's a graduate of our school. He actually just graduated in June, and he was recently appointed to our school committee. Thank you for the time today. And thank you for your service on the planning board. I greatly have a lot of respect for people who spend many hours volunteering for town service, so thank you. We're here today to share some really excellent news. We applied for a highly competitive vocational technical expansion grant through the state of Massachusetts, and we were honored to find out that we were a recipient of a $3.75 million grant in order to bring this proposal before you today. So what we're proposing to do is to add about 7,000 square feet alongside our advanced manufacturing program and relocate our current programming and web, robotics and engineering program into that new space. We'll provide a great opportunity for collaboration between those different technical programs and expand their learning space and the amount of learning area that they have. In terms of the building itself that we're proposing, it's not going to be very prominent in nature. If you think about the size of Neshoba Tech's facility, we're just over 200,000 square feet. We are planning to have the facade of this new building also be brick so that it will blend in. And we're proposing that we would locate it on a parking lot that is currently underutilized in that area of the building. It's a fairly straightforward project, and we look forward to answering any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you. And congratulations, Dr. Pigeon, on that grant. That's
Thank you.
incredible. I'll go to the board with any questions.
One minor question, but hearing what she just said, on the parking lot, I guess I didn't see anything in here really describing the new configuration necessarily, but I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of marking or barriers to prohibit cars from coming in too close to that facility?
The paved area that it's going on now does not have any real traffic flow. It's actually a fenced-in area that has been used really as maintenance storage at this point. So there's not going to be any vehicular traffic in that area at all.
You just answered the question with, it's fenced in.
Yes.
So the fence will prevent access to that area.
I can't say for sure that there'll be a fence after the project, but even so, there will be no direct access to that area from the parking lots.
Okay.
Paul, do you foresee that fence along the side would go back up?
At this point, we're not quite sure the amount that they need to swing for we'll call it the crane service and different things like that. But the fence in the front section and the back section would be taken out at this point. It would be.
Okay, we might want to, Jeff, have engineering just look at barriers to make sure that we don't have cars or heavy vehicles able to get too close to the building, since it sounds like it has pavement right up to it.
So in the past, you've had, with any approval, some conditions that stuff like that be reviewed by public safety officials?
Yes,
Would that language be appropriate?
yes, I
Okay.
agree.
Jody?
Okay, I have two questions. First one being that you're saying it's a modular, which, you know, is obvious. But you also said you're going to put a brick facade. But if you look at the elevations, and maybe it's just that the drawings are not developed enough, but there doesn't seem to be any brick facade. So how is that? Is that going to be added after? Okay, so you're going to have a contractor come in and add this brick facade.
It is part of the current bid proposal that we have, that the brick facade will be added. It's part of the voted project that we're doing, but it will be installed after the modulars arrive on campus.
Okay, okay.
Otherwise, as they explained it to us, that during transport, it could become an issue.
Right, that was my concern, is how, okay, good. Second thing, obviously you have restrooms, and there is a note about tying into the existing force main. Obviously, there has to be something done. Is there going to be pumping, or is that a gravity feed to some sort of a pump station? Because you can't just directly tie into a force main.
So it does tie into a pump station that we have up in the front of our property that is then connected to Chelmsford Sewer.
Okay, super. That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Dylan?
The project looks great, by the way. So the area where there's a corridor that connects the new building to the existing building, can you give me more information about what's happening with kind of, it looks like there's an entryway to the corridor that will actually be in sort of like a, for lack of a better term, kind of like an alleyway or a hallway type of area. Is that going to be a student entrance point, or is that just an emergency fire exit from that corridor?
So from the inside of the building, it is a hallway right now. There's a short hallway that is actually not used. It leads to a small storage area.
Okay.
That storage area will be opened up, and the hallway will continue, so that it will be the way in which the students inside the building access the new addition.
Yep.
So that they do not have to go outside to get into this building. They'll have free access through that hallway.
Okay.
In and out of the building.
Okay, so into that open space, and so that open space outside, sort of between the buildings, is I guess the area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Outside of the hallway, between the two buildings.
Yes.
Is that a paved area? Is that a grassed area? Is that an area where students are going to be coming and going from the corridor?
It is not an area where students will be coming and going.
Okay.
It is currently paved.
It's currently, and it will continue to be paved.
Yes, that's my understanding.
If you're doing excavation, you'll be excavating in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
And you're going to be losing a section.
Yeah.
We have approximately 6 feet right now off the building that has loam
Yeah.
and grass.
Yeah.
And then there's the macadam, the pavement.
Okay.
when they start excavating that area, all that will be coming out. It'll be automatic.
Yep.
The 20 feet in between the two buildings is to allow for fire and apparatus to be able to get in and out of that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Yeah, no questions. I think it's a great project, and I'm actually was surprised to hear that, I didn't know it was Chelmsford Sewer connected to the school, so it was nice to learn that, so.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Back in 2000, sometime between 2003 and 2005, when we did the major renovation on the building facility, there was an arrangement that was made with the town of Chelmsford.
It's great.
During my first term.
All right, anybody from the audience have anything they want to discuss on this? All right.
Just one question. It's fully modular, no blasting of foundation being built in, right?
I'm sorry, if we could just get your name for the record.
Stand up to the microphone. Yeah.
Pietro Treviso, resident of St. Mary's Drive, 14. Question about it's fully modular, no blasting, put like a foundation or such for the building. Is that correct?
There will be some required work for the foundation. Paul or Jeff, do you want to speak
I
to
can
it?
speak to that right now.
So can you, just so we can get captured, you mind standing up to the microphone? Thank you. Oh, to the microphone? Thank you. Or you can sit with the doctor if you'd like, whatever is easier.
What's happening is right now we have these, an old area that had a septic system, and is all these cast concrete items underneath, and they go down approximately 3 feet. We have these 18-inch cast concrete that they're taking out, and when they're taking that out, we're going down to that level so that we can put a 4-foot frost wall. So to say blasting, there shouldn't be any blasting because they had to do any blasting if they ever did before this was installed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? All right.
Okay, relative to that, Jeff, I guess I'd like to put a condition in here that there would be no blasting. If blasting is to be required, I'd like that to come back to the planning board. I think that's a whole nother matter, blasting.
Why would we deny it because of blasting? I mean.
No, but I think at that point, we need to take input from the residents, allow that if that is in the scope. But right now, it sounds like it's out of scope, so we should be fine.
So we just include the standard blasting.
Yeah, blasting
Our
bylaw.
orders of conditions for any of our.
So I would just respectfully suggest, because this is a protected use, I don't think that relates to the 3 limited criteria that you can review, but we could perhaps put in a condition that if there were to be blasting, we do a standard blasting condition.
Right.
That provides that notification to the properties within 400 feet of the site, if there is to be blasting.
Okay.
And they have to get the required permit from the fire department in that case as well.
From a practical standpoint, if anyone's going to be affected by the blasting, it's going to be the school itself, given the proximity to the school we're talking about.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
All right, so can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion on PB 2406, 100 Littleton Road, for approval of site plan review for the construction of a 7,000 square foot building addition?
With the standard conditions and the 2 special conditions mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, I make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Good luck. Okay, second public hearing is PB 2402, amend the zoning bylaw to update the town's floodplain overlay district bylaw by adopting and incorporating into section 8.2 of the zoning bylaw the minimum federal emergency management agency approved standards so that the town may continue to participate in the national flood insurance program.
I will move to waive the reading of the public hearing notice in full for PB 2402.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I'll move that we open the public hearing for PB 2402.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Morissette, Mr. Junowitz?
So as you noted in the reading of the agenda, the model bylaw language changed from this program in 2020. So this kind of stemmed from the whole MBTA communities bylaw process. We did reach out, since the current floodplain overlay district requires a special permit. We wanted to see if there's any conflict, since the MBTA communities bylaw is supposed to allow multifamily housing by right. So that's where it came to our attention that we were out of compliance by not having this model language. So this is simply just to bring us into compliance, basically remove and replace section 8.2, make sure our residents can continue to get flood insurance.
Great.
Sounds like a good idea.
I think the people with flood insurance will be pretty happy about it. Okay, so I've read through it all. I don't necessarily have any questions or concerns. I guess we'll go to the board with questions, concerns. We'll start with Bob.
No concerns. Approximately how many residents are covered by this with flood insurance? Do you know?
I do not know that, no.
See if there's a way to look that up, though.
Probably not enough.
Yeah.
Joni?
No, I have nothing.
Dylan?
Question of, I guess, random curiosity, because I was expecting to see some sort of a map of the overlay district. About what percentage of the town falls into a flood zone? Or flood area, floodplain overlay district area?
Joe, I don't know if you can go to, yes.
Sorry, am I being that guy right now? Kind of being that guy right now?
No, you're being a diligent planning board member that wants to know what you're being asked to weigh in on. So there are so part of the reason why the state has not come down heavy on us yet is because the flood maps are in the process of being updated. So we are doing this perhaps about a year early than we need to, but of course now it's on our radar. It would simplify other matters relative to the MBTA communities. We could prevent multiple zoning amendments later on to just what we could deal with now at once. If you can find that layer. Yeah. If you just, yep, see what happens. So I think in many cases with we've seen some preliminary updated flood maps. I think in general, they've gotten a little more clear, and in some cases, the flood areas, in some cases, have actually been reduced now that they have benefit of better data and aerial mapping. But generally speaking, there are certain areas that they've had these 100-year floodplain areas, and they're going to keep having that. And of course, it's not a surprise, we've had more and more complaints of late relative to flooding issues. So we think since this could save the town money by preventing further zoning amendments down the road, it's best just to deal with it now, we think. We asked your opinion that, I think, at a prior meeting, and you folks agreed. So it's literally the boilerplate language from the state.
Yep.
We removed the coastal community references, which we are not. And we then had them review the changes, and they are satisfied with the changes. So they're good with the letter.
Green is zone A, blue is AE.
Okay, so it's the green, the blue, and the orange areas?
In the orange, yeah. In the orange. Hatched is.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
The map might be a good thing to have available at town meeting, and approximate number of residents who are, I think, to.
That's what I
Bob's
was
question.
asking.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
suspect there's not a lot of abutting residents, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, we can, if
There's
there's
a
a
lot
way
of
to easily
property.
get that, we'll do that, and we'll try to put the maps in your next packet. We'll certainly have it available for town meeting.
Awesome.
We'll see if we can get pending maps.
I'd be
to-
kind of curious to take this overlay district and subtract out, for example, conservation areas, conservation restrictions, and see what's left, and that would expose the residents that might be at risk.
You could just do a street map over this.
Over that, yeah, exactly. We just, I mean,
We'll do some mapping.
We keep hearing about, bring more information to the town meeting and things like that. So just trying to think about what people might have as questions.
I think we should do an explainer too.
Right.
This might be one explainer that has like a map attached.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that's good info to put on the explainer, like how many, what does this affect?
Yep. can do that. Great, thanks. No other questions from me.
There?
I think it makes sense to be up to date.
All right, I don't have anything, so are you looking for us to recommend this, or?
Actually,
Comments from the public?
Yep, that's a good question. Anybody from the audience have any questions or comments? Okay, to the zoning bylaw amendment?
probably the 4th.
Yeah. Next available meeting, probably March 4th, unless you want to try to do it for the 15th, but I'm guessing March 4th would be better.
Sorry. So I guess we'll continue this then for further public comment to the March 4th meeting?
And
you
do you want us, sorry, Joe, you go
I
ahead.
was just going to ask if you wanted a report and recommendation drafted for that meeting?
Yes, please. Yep, that makes sense.
Yes, please.
So motion to continue, move that we continue PB
2402.
2402 to the March 4th meeting.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to continue to 7 PM at this meeting room, March 4th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
On to general business. First item is PB 2407 for 27 Groton Road. It's an A&R plan. Joe, Jeff, anything you want to say on this?
I think it's fairly straightforward. You have a little correspondence from the building commissioner about talking about the dimensional requirements. This could be part one of a two-phase project. Area that's considered first parcel remaining. Could be a project in the near future.
Okay. Anybody from, any questions, Bob?
No.
Joni?
No, thank you.
Dylan?
Nope.
Darren?
No, no questions.
All right, so this is an A&R. I guess we move to approve with that language without a determination as to zoning. Even though I guess there's a letter in there, because, but not our deal, right?
Yep.
So was that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item is our EV working group status discussion. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yep, you too.
Yes, too.
So again, some correspondence in your packet. EV working group wasn't necessarily interested in meeting together to discuss the opt-in code, but did express their willingness to support it at a future town meeting, should it come up. We may have someone from the EV work group. I don't know if you want to say anything.
No, other than we're fully, I'm not speaking for the group since we haven't had a chance to meet, we have been in all of our meetings in support of the optional stretch.
Great.
Which would
Shanti, can you hop up there?
Good evening. I'm Chauncey Chu, the chair of the EV charging stations group here, subgroup of the planning board. So as we have met a number of occasions here, we are in support of the new DOER stretch code. It's gone in alignment with what we've been striving for, which was at least a minimum of charging stations in any new construction. So the new opt-in code requires a charging station up through the actual connector for 20% of the parking spaces, with a minimum of one charging station per unit there. So I think it would be for most new construction sites there. I've talked to Henry, and he says, yeah, he's fully up to speed on the requirements on the stretch code on charging stations, so satisfies the needs of the working group. So there's really no need. We would not provide any further input other than we fully support the opt-in stretch code.
Well, thank you for your effort and your work.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun. We learned quite a bit. Hopefully, the EVs continue on. I guess there's a few bumps in the road, but we'll see how it comes out.
We'll call on you if there are. So, do we want a motion to dissolve this? What is it?
Yes, sir, and with thanks to the working group, of course.
Thank you.
Want to make a motion?
Sure. I'll move that we dissolve the EV working group with gratitude and thanks for their hard work, time, and effort that they put into researching an important topic for the town.
Second.
Great. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chauncey.
Okay, next up, we have a review of the draft minutes. Is there a motion to,
I'll move that we approve the planning board meeting minutes of January 8th, 2024.
and discussion? Bob?
Nope.
Joni?
No.
Dylan?
No, I'm good.
Darren?
No comments.
I'm good. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And correspondence. I did see,
A stop work order.
yes.
Yes, there were some erosion issues out at Spalding. The Conservation Commission did get involved. However, they did recently lift the stop work order, so it was basically in place for 2 weeks, while the folks doing the work out there did address the commission's concerns. So we just wanted to make you aware of it, of what was going on out there.
Right. And once again, for the audience, the Lunch and Learn at the Cameron Senior Center of our MBTA Communities Act multifamily zoning mandate, February 23rd from 12 to 2. Please, is there an RSVP requirement there?
There is.
We are asking that, yeah.
Yeah, please RSVP to 692-5523. And lastly, I don't know if you saw this, Dylan, chairs, vice chairs, of looking to go to the planning steering committee.
Yes, I did see that.
I have it in my calendar, so I should be able to make it if you want to join.
Okay.
Other than that, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.